Hi grades 3. So today we are looking at our math lesson 8. It is Thursday. For this lesson, you need to grab your math books, so your textbook, and open it to page 79. And you will be working on task 8 after this lesson. Okay, task 8. And then in your workbooks, you will be working on exercise 37. It is 3 pages long. So 1, 2, and the next page. Okay, so let's get started. I will do one question from here, and actually I'll do 2 questions from here and 2 questions from your workbook to help us get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at textbook question. I'm going to do 108 divided by 7 and 370 divided by 7. So question A and D on page 79 to help you get started. And then you will work on these 4 questions on your own. So let's go ahead and let's divide. Wait, let me grab my darker one over here. And let's see. So we have 108 divided by 7, right? And remember, we are working with 7 times table. You should have been reviewing your 7 times table this week, and you should have been working on this drill as well every single day because you had 5 of these in your packages. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's work on this. So how many, is this one big enough for me to divide by 7? Can I fit my 7 into this one? No, because this one is too small for me to fit a 7 into it. So what I can do is I can combine my 1 and my 0, and now I have a 10, which is big enough for me to fit a 7 into, right? Now, how many 7s can fit into 10? Only 1, right? And again, grades 3, you can follow your times table sheets, the one with yellow numbers, your whole numbers on the side. So that's the one, okay? So I need 1 7. So this is my whole number, my yellow one. That went up at the top, and my multiple needs to come down. How do I get a multiple? When I multiply these 2 numbers. So 7 times 1 gives me 7. 10, take away 7, or if you want to do it this way, so I borrow, it becomes a 10. 10 take away 7, it is 3, right? Then I bring down my 8. Right? I go back to my 7 times table and I look for a multiple of 7 that is either 38 or smaller than 38. It cannot be bigger than 38. And the biggest I can go is 7 times, so 7 times 1 gives me 7, 7 times 2 gives me 14, 7 times 3 gives me 21, 7 times 4 gives me 28, 7 times 5 gives me 35, 7 times 6 gives me 42. So, do I need a 42? No, because that's too big. So 7 times 5 gives me 35. That's the best I can use, right? Then I go ahead and subtract, and 3 take away 3 is 0, and 8 take away 5 is 3. So what's my remainder? 3. What's my quotient? 15. That is our long division. Okay, let's do our next one. Okay, so let's do D, which is 730 divided by 7. Okay, now how many 7s do I need to make 1 7? I need 1 7, right? So I have my number, my whole number at the top. Then I need to write my multiple. which I get when I multiply these two numbers, right? So 7 times 1 gives me 7. Then I go ahead and subtract. I'm left with 0. Then I need to bring my 3 down. Now this 3 is too small for me to fit a 7 into. I cannot do that, right? So therefore, because I can't do, when I bring down a number and I can't do anything with it, I put a 0 at the top, right? Now I am allowed to bring my 0 down, right? Now it's become a 30. It's big enough for me to divide by 7. So let's go ahead and say our 7 times table. 7 times 1 gives me 7. 7 times 2 gives me 14. 7 times 3 gives me 21. 7 times 4 gives me 28. 7 times 5 gives me 35. We do not need a 35. That's too big. We are looking for something 30 or something less. And the less we found was 7 times 4. So I need 4 sevens, right? So 4 goes at the top because that's the number of 7s I'm using. And then to get this number down here, I go back and multiply 4 times 7 gives me 28, right? Then I go ahead and subtract. So I borrow, this becomes a 10, this becomes a 2. I'm left with 0 here. 10 take away 8 gives me 2. My remainder is 2, and my quotient is 104. Okay, so those are your questions from task 8, and I did A and D. Now you should go ahead and do B and E and C and F, okay? After that, you have a task to do in your workbook as well. So we need to work on exercise 37. So I'm going to do 2 questions from this exercise, and then you get to go ahead and do the rest. Okay, so there are 5 on these 2 pages and 2 on the next page. Okay, so altogether you have 7 questions. I will do 2 with you, and out of 7, you have 5 left to do on your own. Okay, so I'm gonna do question 3 and question 5 over here. So 3 and 5, okay? You should be following along as I'm reading the question. You should try to understand how you would do it, okay? Even if you want, you can pause the video, quickly do the question, and then you can unpause and see whether you were correct or close. Okay, so here we go. The question is, Mrs. Gray paid, so I'm reading question 3. Over here. So read it for us. Okay. Mrs. Gray paid $1.98 for the basket of fish. How many kilograms of fish did she buy? Okay. So over here you have a picture that tells you that 1 kilogram is equal $7, right? And she paid $98. So we actually need to figure out how many kilograms would that be. If she paid 98, and if 1 pound costs $7, how much would 98 dollar? How many kilograms would come in $98? Okay, so let's go ahead, and what we need to do is we need to actually do something with our dollars. Do you think we're going to multiply or we're going to divide? We're actually going to divide our 98 to our 7. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's divide our 98 to our 7 and see how many kilograms did she get. Okay, so how many 7s can fit into a 9? Only 1 7, right? Then I go ahead and multiply. 1 times 7 gives me 7. Then I subtract. I'm left with 2. I bring this 8 down. So 7 times 1 gives me 7. 7 times 2 gives me 14. 7 times 3 gives me 21. 7 times 4 gives me 28. I need 4 7s to make 28. Then I go ahead and multiply 4 times 7 gives me 28. I subtract, I'm left with 0. My remainder is 0. My quotient is 14. Am I done my question? No, I need to go ahead and write my answer. So how many kilograms of fish did she buy? She bought 14 kilograms of fish. Does that make sense? Now we are done our question. Okay? Now let's go ahead and do question 5. Okay? And you should be reading along. When I'm reading the math question, you should be reading along and trying to understand what you might need to do. Are you going to divide? Are you going to multiply? Okay? So let's go ahead and read question 5, which is on page 105, okay, in your workbook. So this one. Mrs. Bode packaged 875 grams of sugar equally into 7 bags. She put 5 of the bags in a box. How many grams of sugar were there in the box? Okay, so let's go ahead, and there are how many bags? There are 7 bags. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to actually draw a picture of 7 bags so that I know what I need to do and what I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so these are my 7 bags, and she packaged 875 grams of sugar in all these 7. So all these 7 equal 875. So all of these packages, they have 875 grams of sugar. Then she put 5 of the bags in a box. So let's color off 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. She put these in another box, right? So these are leftover. How many grams of sugar were there in the box? So for that, we actually first need to find out, well, how much sugar is in each of these bags, because altogether we know that it's 875, right? But we actually have to figure out how much is in each of these bags. So would it be smaller amount or would it be bigger amount in each of these? It would be smaller, which means we have to divide it first. So let's go ahead, and we are going to, because we know all together we have 875 and there are 7 bags. So we are going to take 875, our total, and we are going to divide it by 7 to find out how much is in each bag, right? So first of all, we need to find out how much is in each bag, because right now we know altogether it's 875, but we don't know how much is in one single bag. Once we find that out, then we will know, well, how much was in the box. Okay, so let's go ahead. How many 7s do I need to, how many 7s do I need to make this 8? I need 1 7. So 7 times 1 gives me 7 times 1 gives me 7. I subtract, I'm left with 1. Then I bring my 7 down. 7 times 1 gives me 7. 7 times 2 gives me 14. 7 times 3 gives me 21. Do I need a 21? No. So that means I only need 2 7s to fit into the 17. So 2 7s would give me 14, because 2 times 7 makes 14. Grade 3, I hope you're following along. Okay, then we have, so I'm going to subtract. I'm left with 3. Then I bring my 5 all the way down. Right? Now this has become a 35. So 7, let's go back to our 7 times table. And let's look at how many 7s would make 35 or something closer to 35. It cannot be bigger, okay? So 7 times 1 gives me 7. 7 times 2 gives me 14. 7 times 3 gives me 21. 7 times 4 gives me 28. 7 times 5 gives me 35. I get exact numbers, so I don't need to go any further. So I need 5 sevens to make 35. Then I go ahead and multiply. 5 times 7 gives me 35. I subtract. I'm left with nothing. My quotient is 125. We just found out that 125 grams of sugar was in each of these bags. So let's go ahead and fill in our boxes. Okay, so 125, 125, 125, 125, 125, right? Even in these, it's 125. But they don't care about all of the boxes. They only want to know, well, how much gram of sugar was in these 5 boxes, packages that got put away in a box, right? So how would we find out if there is 125 gram of sugar in one bag? In 5 bags, would it be more or would it be less? It would be more because it's combined together. So we need to multiply 125 to 5. Does that make sense? Because there are 5 bags. So that's how we would know if there's 125 in one bag, how much would there be in 5? So I'm going to multiply my 125 to my 5 to find out how much sugar we have in all of these boxes. So 5 times 5, so remember I'm going to multiply my 5 to my 1s, then 5 to my 10s, then 5 to my 100s. So 5 times 5 gives me 25. I write my 5 here, I carry my 2 over on top of the 2. 5 times 2 gives me 10 plus this 2, which makes it 12. I write my 2 down, I carry my 1 over. Then 5 times 1 gives me 5 plus 6. 625 grams of sugar. So I'm going to write my sentence. So the question is, how many grams of sugar were there in the box? So there were 625, you can just write G to show grams, of sugar in the box, period. Now I'm done my question. Okay, so that's what you need to do for some of these questions. If it helps you, you can absolutely draw a picture to help you along the way. Okay, so drawing a picture just helps us to see something clearly, right? Sometimes all we may need to do is just draw a picture and we would know, oh, that's what I need to do. Okay, so that is your lesson for Thursday, and I will see you next time in a new lesson.